So, we are back, front lines. Let's see. Let me just this real quick, let them know I'm not looking at chat, but we are back. It's been a while since I did a little VOD review. This is gonna be a pretty simple one. I'm gonna go over one little raid that we did a little bit ago, but first I just kind of wanted to do a quick discussion on living at the wall. Let me make sure my mic, yes, it is coming through. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right. So, the quick discussion I just want to have. I just notice a lot of times when we are getting people up to the wall, we are not living as much as we need to be living. I know it sounds really fucking broad and vague and stupid, but I'm just gonna kind of give you some examples of what I mean by this. And just generally, this is one of the raids we did a while ago. It's a practice on external map. And essentially, I just want to show you just how much, I guess I'm trying to live on this wall. I'm trying to jump up, do my damage, get some picks, and live. And one thing I notice a lot with the people here in SOR is people commit a lot of times when they do make these jump ups. As you just saw, I've made the jump up. I'm looking around, trying to get a kill. I'm getting shot. I notice I'm not going to get that kill. I have the disadvantage, so I just drop out. I notice a lot of times people just try to commit. Like when they get in the base, they just try to commit to being in base. As an attacker, it's not an ROE break. If you jump in, do some damage, jump out of base, that's fine. It's as a defender, you cannot jump out of base. So I was trying to think of like a term for this. So I kind of came up with the term, I guess, like kind of like snaking. Just the act of jumping in the base, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out, like as you're attacking, trying to get some damage in here. I thought I could make this jump here, but I couldn't. Hopefully gets a good trade there. You see me again, just kind of jumping up. I've noticed they're all kind of pushing me there, so I'm not going to get that kill. I'm just trying to live. I see all the enemies there. I think I tried pushing this, and that did not work out. But just back to trying to get some picks here. Just jumping up and trying to get my pick. Couldn't get it. Just trying to live again. I'm not making anything magic happen here, but just trying to get these kills. Trying to just live here. You see, I'm just moving constantly so this guy can't look down at me. You just got to be doing little like micro movements like that to be trying to just live. And just be a nuisance up on the wall. I'm pretty much forcing them to like bring rockets over or something to deal with me, or have multiple people deal with me. You see, now I got another, and we're out. I'm just trying to reposition and get another pick somewhere else on the wall. Alright, here I'm trying to commit because I know there's a fight going on the other side. And again, just living. Doing my damage. I know I have teammates here. I was hoping one of them could hit the jump up and try to get the flank. That didn't really work out too well, but we ended up getting both those guys. The guy that pushed in with me, you see him kind of over there. Let's get past this a bit. Oh, I'm gonna go back to right here. Now again, and here's kind of a situation where I kind of learned from my own gameplay, just say, right here, I probably shouldn't commit. I should jump out. And you see, kind of just going to the whole issue and what I'm trying to teach of, being willing to jump out of base. Right here, if I get that kill and just jump out, I could just regroup with these guys. We have, we just picked 2 off the wall, and I live. But because I'm doing, what a lot of people in our clan do, and a common mistake of just trying to commit at this point, I mean, I'm just running right into a pinch. There's no way I'm living here, and boom. And that's kind of the main thing I'm just trying to teach in general is just being willing to hop out and play your life if that's what's needed. staying on the wall, and boom, I commit. Whoever that is right there committed as well, and we're just dying. Whereas if we would just stay there and commit, maybe we could pinch this guy with Saint, and then we have people coming in on the right, and then boom, it's like a 5v6 or 5v7. We're still a little outnumbered, but we stand a way better chance than our 3 guys over here now stand. And you'll see they just all kind of just drop like 5s because of that. I'll kind of go forward a little bit more. I'll just give one more little quick example of it. You see, I'm just trying to knock off the other sight lines. I'm just trying to live here on this wall. You see, they're coming at me. I'm just living. Just continually try to snake this guy here. See, and right here, here's where I make another mistake. You see, I have plenty of guys that I could be shooting, and I should have noticed that that guy was going left. And this is just bad awareness out of me, because that guy, I totally saw him out of my peripheral. And I shouldn't be committing, but I'm trying to commit and get in on this right side because I thought I saw Ray and I was hoping more people were here. But just bad right awareness out of me. I should have just kept sneaking right on the wall, like what I'm trying to teach. And honestly, I probably could have just isolated a fight with this guy. And then if I won that, there's only however many left in the base. It's just a matter of being patient and being aware, of what the situation is. Again, right here, I think we do a good job. I think we get a kill here as well, just by the snaking method. And you see me and top are just kind of just doing the same thing, just jumping up and down, getting, and we just got 2 picks off of that. Now they do bring the rockets over here, and we end up getting cleared out. But you see how many people, just like the 3 of us pretty much just drew over the attention of a lot of their team. We killed 2. They had to bring the rockets over right there. They had these 2 guys here. And it did open up this push on this side. So that's just like a small situation. If you got like 2 guys snaking here and you got, the rest of your team pushing from another angle, it's just, I guess, like common sense. They can't cover everything at once, right? So if you're on a wall like that and you have the ability to just kind of snake and kind of just jump up, do your damage, jump down if you need to, that is, I think, the most efficient way, as an attacker to really kind of, 1, get some picks, but 2, to make an advantage, right? Because if you jump up, you get a kill, and then you jump down, you're not trading out. And then, it's just kind of can snowball into a numbers advantage for your team. So, really kind of like a pretty basic concept. I just noticed a lot of people in our clan, like, just commit to everything. You can see right here, it is a simple situation. Just took over again. So you saw I was on the wall and I just jumped off, so I could hit it. It's just a matter of playing your life. Just trying to be as much of a nuisance as you can and keep that numbers advantage. Raids, I feel like they're just all about having a numbers advantage. If you can, get picks without trading and just keep doing that, eventually, it's going to snowball into where your team has a huge advantage and you guys can collapse in on the defenders. But it all starts with back to the jump up so that right when we regen, we're jumping right back in. So that way there was no way I thought I had a nade there. It was just very unfortunate. We ended up dying anyway, but we got a lot of kills there. I mean, they pretty much have like 3 guys in base right now, just off of that push. So just showing, you know, I just wanted to kind of go over that, just very basically how, you know, just playing your life, not being afraid as an attacker to just jump off the wall if you need to. Just don't feel like you are like, once you enter the base, you're tethered to the base. You'll see a lot of high tier clans like, you know, like Valor, like Vanguard especially. I notice they do that very efficiently. Just jumping in and out of the base as an attacker. That is allowed. And something I've noticed really high tier raiders do is, you know, sometimes they'll jump in and say the sniper's standing on the wall. You kill the sniper and just run out of the base with the sniper if, you know, they still have a huge advantage and you're in no position to press. But really, in terms of committing when you're on the wall, I feel like the main time you should commit is when you jump up and you're getting those picks, and then you notice that, you know, your team is collapsing from a certain way. You only want to commit when, you know, you really feel the advantage of your team. Now, I'm just going to go over this raid just a little bit. Just a couple of things I think we could have done. This was against UNSC Resolute. We were attacking here. On this, so just to kind of briefly go over the base, just the way it looks, you know, you have this right side approach here, just to kind of give you an idea of the sight lines, this whole left side push on this mountaintop, they can kind of just cross from right here, and we'll see that a lot kind of in this issue, but the armory is right here in the center. So typically when I feel like you have these kind of big bases like this, what will happen a lot of times, as you can see, is we've gained our foothold right here on this left side. But the enemy still controls this right side. Now, there's a couple different things that I think, you know, this is kind of the dynamic that plays out throughout this whole raid. Is it's a battle where, you know, one team keeps getting one side, the other team has the other side, and how we can kind of, you know, overcome that, you know, and win these fights in the end where, you know, we have one side, they have one side. How can we get full control of the base, right? And I think when the issues here, when we were attacking this, is we're holding our side, right? We end up getting some kills here. Now, we do want to collapse, which is fine. The issue, right, and this is kind of one thing I notice a lot with other clans, is they're very good at just sticking together off spawn. So right off spawn, you'll see they just all push, just beeline it right through, right to our side of the base. Now, in this situation, even though we want to fight this armory, which, you know, makes sense if we want to fight this, I think the main issue that we run into here is we're pretty much just avoiding controlling the side of the base that we have, right? Like, when we do have control of the side, we need to make sure we are holding it. And here, I think we're just getting too antsy with trying to push this armory. We either should have done this, you know, at about this point, right? Sometime around this point, we either should pressure this or just continue to hold. But since we're dropping in numbers, you know, you have to kind of time in your head when the enemy spawners are going to be back on us, right? And the issue is by the time here, when you see, look, we're committing, we need to be timing that the enemy spawners are going to be back on the base somewhere. In this situation, we pretty much just let half of their team just come running right back, and we just dropped our defenses on the one side we held. So at this point, we don't really control anything, you know. And we do end up getting armory here, but the cost is pretty high, you know. We definitely kind of lost that side right there. We're trying to hold this, but we're not kind of extending out and controlling any side of the base here. Because of this, you will see they kind of just all pour back in this side for free. They're just very staggered. Now we do end up getting this anyway, which is fine, but again, we are just not focused. You know, even though we recover from that, we're just not focused on controlling the side of the base that we have. I mean, you'll see we totally just leave this wall wide open, and they're just getting back for free. And it's very bad because they're already pushing in from the right side too, so we're just getting collapsed on essentially for free. I don't know if you noticed, but on the wall you can see some other guys doing kind of the snaking that we were talking about. Where they're just jumping in and out. They need to, trying to live. Just in general, we are winning some pretty good fights here. We're getting back pretty quickly here. And we do end up getting what I would say is pretty much almost full control of the base. And again, it's just not really controlling our side of the base, I feel like, is the issue that we run into a lot. We kind of control this side, and we're just essentially letting them walk right in the middle. Just like a gap right there. That guy gets 2 people. They just traded out 2 and 2. So I think it's just a lot of needless deaths that are just preventing us from really getting full control. And here we finally get it. But you saw that was about 5 minutes of us kind of making some minor mistakes where I feel like we could have we could have been in control of this base, I think. And we could have just stopped them from getting back as easily as they, were. Now, one thing I'd say is when we do have this, we're doing a really good job right now at projecting out, right? We're trying to control everything. So we have people on this wall. We do have one person kind of sitting back and defending, which is fine. One person kind of here. I think they're moving up here. In general, we're just getting people all along the wall. So this is a very good hold here. And I believe we do kind of crack this front. Although there is some losses. We do end up cracking this push here. But you'll see, just based off that kind of projecting out versus not, here's where the issue starts to come, right? Now, just to kind of go back, this isn't bad, right? This is us kind of projecting out. We're kind of watching a lot. We should have more people on this right side. The issue is we kind of keep going forward. We get to this point, right? Maybe a little bit back more. We have so many people just inside the base, just we're not fully focusing on I guess projecting out here. We got a lot of people kind of not really watching anything, and then we panic when we're losing numbers over here, and we just shift. It's fine to shift people away from this part of the wall. The issue is both sides of the wall need to be fighting together. Like this side, if we're gonna have people come over here to handle these guys, we need a few people on this side to be crossing this. As you can see, this guy's wide open. This guy's pretty open. We have plenty of opportunities to help this wall, and just to shoot from this side. But we are so kind of focused on kind of collapsing right in here and holding inside that we're not projecting anymore, right? We're not holding the outer parts of the wall and kind of pushing for pushes. We have one person fighting there. This guy's running down here. This guy's running down here. And both of these guys, let me see. I'm not actually sure who it is. But both of these guys, as you can see, they could see right here. They could definitely be helping out here. And instead, we got 5 different guys looking inside the base here. So 5 out of our 9 defenders, pretty much at one point are just kind of looking. And I would actually go so far, with this guy, it's really about like 6 looking inside the base, even this fire. So I think the main issue we kind of ran into here is just not continuing to project out. We just have too many guys focused interior when most of their team is just literally just pushing us and get overwhelmed right here on the left wall. Now you'll see right when they take it, a little bit different from what we did, but fairly similar. We did try. They had one person here kind of crossing the other side, the our side that we were trying to defend. But they main thing kind of kept 2 people there to just hold that part of the wall. So really just kind of one of the main focuses I think we need to have on a big base like this is we need to make sure when we are getting in as a team that we're holding our side of the base. We at least keep like 1 or 2 people just kind of sitting, at our one entrance. Now, one thing I do want to say too, I believe if I go out in the spawn, and just kind of see what they're doing here off of their spawn, they are sending right off the spawn. They see that they are overwhelming this wall here, right? They're sending. This guy came all the way out here, and this guy's kind of playing midfield with him. They're crossing the field, right? They have 2 people crossing and trying to keep the spawners off while they have this push going right here. And these 2 guys, their sole purpose is to kind of spawn trap here. So they just collapse in on this and take this fight. Now, one thing I will say is when we are kind of when we're working on getting back to base and we're working on, kind of taking one entrance, the way they just grab this side of the base, but we still have this side, right? They're trying to open up this lane for their guys to get back, right? And what they're doing is they know that because they spawned on this side of the spawn, we spawned on this side, right? So they're crossing the field to kill the spawners. And it's a very basic concept, but something that I think we do need to focus on as a group is just paying attention to what side of the spawn you spawn on. And if your goal is to try to, hold back the spawners, you want to cross the field, especially in a situation like this where they're flooding this side. They're going to take this side of the base. They know that we're very strong on this side, so they want to prevent the spawners from just walking back into our side while their guys get this foothold and just keep getting in for free, right? So in terms of kind of spawn trapping, I guess. We just want to make sure we're paying attention on a big base like this, what side the enemy team has, and then preventing the spawners from getting back to that side, right? Which is why they cross this field here, to try to prevent us from getting back to our side. And then you'll see as time goes on, again, they spawn on this side, so they know we're here. And you'll see all their guys are just running this side. They're just collapsing in, and just pinching again. Meanwhile, they keep a few guys right here to just make sure they don't get back this side. But again, it's just a lot about knowing, you know, what side you're spawning on, and just kind of crossing the field if you need to. If you're trying to prevent enemy spawners from getting back. Now, I'm just going to go forward a little bit. We do end up taking this left side again, and we're doing a good job here at holding this. So that's perfect. You know, it's just a very simple concept. You know, if you are taking the one side of the base, we do need to make sure we're holding that. Get back in on this way as well. In general, I think this is pretty good. We are holding our entrance, and now we are all getting back in because we are holding that entrance. I think it is fine in that situation to kind of leave that, you know, the people who did leave it left because they saw, you know, just a straight line of our players coming in. I do think that's fine. I think if you are this player right here, or, yep, you need to be, somebody needs to be turning around here, just anybody. And again, this is kind of the situation where we're all kind of pouring in, we're trying to win this fight for the base, right? But we're not holding our entrance, right? And now they're just getting back in for free, and now we're just getting pinched. You know, we are on the inside of the base, and they pretty much have full control of all the high ground. Now, it's not the worst situation to have the armory in here, but our whole team surrounding everything, it is hard to make a play with this. Whoever is in the Warthog right there needs to just hop out. I don't know what kind of play you're trying to make. But if that happens to you and you pull up and your teammates are running in, you just need to hold hands with them. I really have no clue what this is, but as a major crow, we cannot be doing stuff like that in raids. Especially at a mid-tier level, it's never gonna work. And again, I do think right at this point here, right? So we get these kills here. Sorry, I was a little distracted by the Warthog that I forgot the overarching picture. So right here, the Warthog hops out. We got 4 people on this side, right? Now we need to realize that they have a good amount of guys on this left side. I do think having like 1 or 2 guys fight for the armory is good. However, we need to be holding this side. And trying to make sure that we at least keep 1 entrance, because what happens is they just 2 people get in for free because we're not watching. We end up pretty much losing the fight at armory anyway. And right here as well, just wanted to bring this up because I did notice this. I understand this player was trying to get this kill here. However, you have to keep in mind, and this goes for every game mode in Halo, you have to keep in mind sight lines, right? They're a big deal. And when you're chasing down in here, you're just trading out. And in this situation, when we only have like 3 or 4 in base, you don't want to be trading out. And just in general in raids, you know, there's not many times where trading out is the optimal thing. I know it might suck to kind of let this guy live, right? But if this player, instead of going for this trade here, just secures the armory with him, we have a much better chance. Or even, as I was saying, watch this entrance over here. These two could possibly win this fight here against these two players, and we could hold this side of the base. But just to kind of pushing into their sight lines, you get that trade. But again, you just got to realize, I mean, you're standing right here. These guys hold this side. They're all going to be watching you. You know, there's very little chance, unless you make some kind of hero play, that you're going to get out of that alive. So just being smart, really valuing your life, I think is a really important thing. And in these situations, when the enemy has one side of the base, just not chasing into their sight lines. You know, we really need to make sure we are paying attention to the sight lines. Now here we start kind of pouring in on the left side again. And again, if you see, although we're having pretty good fights go on right here, right? If we just had one person watching the entrance, we could have possibly stopped these two guys from coming in. And I know you might think, oh, well, it's only two guys. Well, they killed this guy. This guy's in a horrible position now, and so is this player. And these two guys pretty much just killed all 3 of these guys on this side, just because we let them back in, right? And it's just I feel like raids are just a series of a lot of little micro mistakes or micro, you know, successes on each side. And we really need to just focus up on, you know, just the little things like that. Just making sure we're securing our entrance when we do have a foothold in the base. Making sure we're just looking out. Even if you have to be like a little, you know, ADHD, like rat, you know. Like if you're this player right here, right? And I know you want to fight this. You want to help the team, right? I understand that. But you have to realize that your position right here, you're the only one here. So even if you have to be checking the field and then kind of checking back and then checking the field, but they just walk up for free, you know. And even if you couldn't win the 1v2 against those guys, just holding them back would even just be better than, you know, what ended up happening. Just gonna go ahead a little bit. They get full control, and as you can see, they're pretty much just trying to project out right away. But they're not doing as great of a job at it, I would say, because if they were fully projecting out, and these guys, you know, at least one of these guys was out here, say, you know, they could be kind of crossing more into our push. Now here, I think they notice, and they start projecting out much better. Now they actually just fully collapsed in. And that allows us kind of over here on the side. I believe I was over here as well. That allows us a lot of work, you know, space to work with here. I believe we started this kind of push here. see I'm just kind of jumping up and trying to just do a little bit of damage on it. Nortenko tries to snake, he gets his melee, and he tries to back off. Mr. Perfect, see, he lives, we end up jumping up, and me and Norris can take these two guys. Now right there, I should have just finished that kill. That was definitely probably a little bit of a mistake on me. I should have been a little more consistent with just pushing that. Tanko dies because of the cross, but it was very good of him to jump up. He did his damage. He kind of snaked back out and let me and Norris kind of work off the damage that he did. We pick up the one shot and then it's a 2v2 right on here. And, you know, just like a little example of, you know, snaking where we can really just make plays happen by just playing our lives. One thing I will say here, I kept noticing this kind of throughout the raid. I kept noticing people kind of just pushing right in the front. I think the issue with the front gate push here, and I think it would work in very specific situation, right? If we had better pressure elsewhere, it would work. And this again kind of comes back to like raid awareness, right? Like if nobody is pushing anywhere else, right? We don't really have a good push anywhere else. And you're in this front gate. I mean, look at what this looks like from this perspective, right? The one thing this screams to me is low ground and disadvantage, right? You're kind of just walking into the low ground. Only two people. They have, you know, 6 in base. And you might not know exactly how many they have in base, but you should know it's more than 2, right? And I think in situations like this, if you're this player, you just need to stop and say, wait, where's the team? Okay, we have 0 pressure, right? You just turn around, look for your teammates, see that there's nothing else going on, and you know, just wait or try to get picked somewhere. But again, see, look, he walks in the low ground, just at a complete disadvantage, and there's pretty much nowhere that these two players can go. And you see, the funny thing is, you know, in regards to that, is if these players just wait a minute, right? Literally just wait maybe 10 seconds, the whole enemy team doesn't have to, you know, wouldn't be able to shift over here. So even if you did want to push the low ground, just waiting for pressure from other teammates would be nice, because then it could be a 4-on-6 instead of a 2-on-6. And you'll see that was literally, what, like 10 seconds. If they would have just waited about 10 seconds, you'd have these two players here coming in. But since they didn't, they got 6v2'd, and now these players are going to get essentially 3v2'd right here. So it really is just a matter of playing your advantage. You know, just taking a moment, you know, don't be afraid to feel like you have to make a play every second, right? You should be able to just stop, look around, and just try to recognize the situation. And just recognize what is going on, right? Because if all 4 of those players just pushed at the same time, maybe we could have killed this whole side, you know, and then got control of Armory and tried to isolate these guys up here. But because of the staggeredness of our push, we're just kind of feeding these guys right now. And again, you see, so 2 guys got dealt with here, then 2 guys got dealt with there. And now we got 3 guys here, and look at how their team is just shifting over to deal with this, right? Like, we're essentially just feeding. We're totally just feeding. They're just isolating, you know. We just traded out 3 players for 1, you know, out of that whole situation there. So We had with these three, the initial two and the two over there, we had 7 players push in, and we got 2 kills out of that, because of the staggeredness, right? We got essentially 6v2'd, then 3v2'd, and then right here 4v3'd. Well, actually, this guy, so 5v3'd. And in the low ground here in the 5v3. So it's just a matter, really, with these raids of just playing your advantage, playing the numbers game, and that's why I kind of started this session off with the kind of snaking movement, because it's just little stuff like that. I want you guys to really see what I mean when I say play your life. I don't really mean hide. I just mean right when you get the disadvantage in a fight, just backing off, doing your damage, backing off when you have the disadvantage. Um, you know, and then really making sure, that you're taking a second to notice what's going on and make sure we're all collapsing as a team. I think too often in these raids, I think one of the reasons that we're losing a lot of these raids, is people are listening to my advice of like holding hands and playing as a team, and they're doing kind of stuff like this where these three probably thought, okay, we have 3 of us right here. Let's hold hands and play as a team. But in a 12v12, a group of 30 people doesn't really mean shit, right? We need to be playing as a whole team. Um, we need to be playing just way more together than just 2 people at a time, and then 3 people at a time, and then 2 people at a time. The staggeredness, I think, is what really kills us. I think just in general, these next few minutes, I think it's just a lot of the same. It's just a lot of staggeredness. It's a lot of just getting to the wall and dying before a play can develop. And that's one of the reasons I kind of brought up snaking is, one of the reasons you do that is you just let the play develop, right? Um, if you're trying to do too much, and the play doesn't develop, then we're just going back to being super staggered. I have a lot of low ground push here, and so you can see we pretty much just all try to push this low ground, and we're just getting shot down on. In a base like this, where both sides can kind of cross each other, you have to also realize they can cross the middle, right? So kind of pushing the middle is a little risky when it comes to like a full team push. I don't think it will really ever work on a map like this. We need to be pushing these kind of sides. I think right here we actually have a pretty good team push. We end up getting wiped there. It was not a horrible team push. But I think one of the issues with it, right, is we finally get a good amount of guys together, but we have no pressure on this right side, right? We have people essentially hiding, and this again kind of comes back to the awareness of like, I want you to play your life on the wall and let the play develop. But in this situation, if you're here, you have to be looking over and seeing that the play is developing here. This is a very good situation here. We have lots of numbers pushing this side together. That's a very good play, but we need to be pressuring this now, right? If these two guys pressure this, like, we're trying to cross here, but honestly, the better move is if these two guys just go in, we can prevent these guys from crossing our entire push. If you just watch, I mean, we pretty much just get crossed to death here by there. This guy's just shooting across. He did so much damage, just on these guys pushing. And then, by the time that all happens, we just lost that whole push. Now the right side is starting to try to push in, and we just get cracked. Whereas if both sides just push in at the same time, I think we can, we can really kind of pinch these guys if we're just more coordinated and both sides pushing. And I think a lot of that, you know, has to really to do with just people taking a breath, taking a moment, um, and then just looking, if you're on this side and you're fighting and you need cover for a second, just stepping down and just looking over and seeing what's going on over here. And if you see we have a big group pushing, then just push in as well. I think the last thing, now, I could just keep going, but it's really just a lot of the same thing. I just want to hammer one more point home about the projecting versus, kind of collapsing in. Now, right here, we did do a really good job when we get in the base here. Just really kind of contested fighting for the base here. We get back in here. They do have one kind of near the armory, but we end up kind of clearing them out back here. I think the issue comes into play. Just right back here. Now we're doing a good job at controlling, our left side here, but we have no real presence here. We're very far back in the base. We have a lot of people just standing in armory and just holding the inside of the base. Whereas if we just project out, right, we could be crossing this a lot better. We could have one more person out of armory over here. And we could just cross this whole push. But since we're not really getting any real damage, on this, we just have like one person trying to cross this by themselves. They're just like, they're literally just piling up right here. Even if we just had one person stand right here, look at this. This is like a free a couple thousand damage right here. And we just essentially get really overwhelmed here. And they crush our whole kind of side defending there. So again, just kind of projecting out. And on a base like this, just having the awareness of what's going on both sides, right? When, I'm sure there was some kind of call outs that they were all pushing this way. But if you're someone on this side, and even if you're this guy who sees all this going on, we need to just be calling out together that, we need to be crossing this as a team. And if you're this player and you're very worried about this guy, I would recommend that you not even care about this guy, because what we need to be doing is really just standing right here. Just this guy doesn't pose an immediate threat to the base, right? How far back? It would take him maybe 15 seconds to get in the base from where he's at right now. So we need to just be eliminating these sight lines, both of these guys right here, and just crossing the guys who are literally jumping into the base, right? It kind of comes down to like target prioritization and just figuring, just you want to keep in your head who is the most dangerous guy. So this player started off good by crossing, but then they wanted to take this, which essentially, in the words of Druck in his, pro teaching and, his lessons, he would call this like a piss fighting match, right? What can you really gain from this fight here? It's essentially just trying to outshoot each other behind cover, right? It's very low chance either of you are actually going to get the kill. This player just kind of egoed and got killed. Whereas if both of these guys just sat here, they could have killed maybe 2 or 3 of these guys coming in. We could have held this side for sure. And then, they could secure their side and push out and then maybe shoot this guy back if you want to at that point. But again, it's just we need that kind of prioritization. We need that awareness to know what the important fight is, right? At this point, the important fight is right here. We have three guys here, and they have pretty much their whole team pushing this side. We need to be realizing that there is a major push on this side, and we only have three guys there, and we need to be helping that, right? So I'm happy this player started looking, but I need more out of this. I need both these players to just sit here, cut off the sight line, and just laser these guys. That's the only way these three guys are gonna have a chance at winning this fight here. So overall, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the VOD review there. I think there's a lot of valuable lessons. The main thing I want you guys to take away from this, you know, is just really focus on the awareness aspect. Even if that means stopping what you're doing, looking at where your team is, and really just paying attention to the kill feed, paying attention to the comms, the call outs. We need to be just more aware of what we're doing as a team. I think we're very staggered. We're not playing our lives enough on the wall. I want to see more people, snaking when you need to snake, um, and not just full on committing every single time to just getting in the base. We need to really make sure we're working together, we're playing our lives, and the main thing I want you to take away from this VOD review of this map here is the numbers advantage, right? And the context of the numbers advantage. We really need to be playing our numbers well. And just so you see on this last push, it's like a 3v like 7 or 8 or whatever. Um, and that's why I wanted these guys to just cross this because they can turn this from like a 3v7 into a 5v7 by just not worrying about the piss contest here and just crossing and helping the team. So we really just need to focus on that numbers. We need to focus on playing our lives, and we need to focus on the awareness. I think if each one of you that are watching this really take that into like heart and just focus on that, we can really become a lot better at taking bases. Our offense needs a lot of work. I think our defense does need some work as well, as you see right here. Um, but yeah, other than that, I hope this was helpful. Sorry if I'm not really the best VOD reviewer. I really am trying to just pick out a few lessons for you guys, and just kind of show you a bunch of examples of how we're pretty much just making the same mistakes, and I think they are very correctable. Um, so yeah, I appreciate anyone who tuned in, anyone who's watching. Go front lines, go SOR. Love you guys.